And Shedeur Sanders is in the news big time today at Cleveland Browns OTAs because out of the 4 Browns quarterbacks, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders, by all reports, by all accounts, and in all the statistical tracking, had the best day. And Shedeur is getting praise heaped on him by beat reporters and everyone that was there watching practice. His poise, his command, his accuracy, looking better than Pickett and Gabriel and Flacco. And there's a thought now that maybe Shedeur is just going to be the starting quarterback for the Browns when they open the season as 5.5-point dogs at the moment right now against Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, you know that I'm on record saying, because I said it literally not the day after the NFL draft, but the Monday after the draft ended, when Shedeur was the big story, and he doesn't get drafted until the 5th round on Saturday. I said this is an amazing landing spot for Shedeur. He's going to start games for the Browns this season, and I firmly believe that that's true. There's no way he's starting week 1. There's no way. Not with Flacco on the roster, not with Pickett on the roster, and not with the rookie that they drafted 2 rounds ahead of Shedeur Sanders. I think Sanders is going to start, and maybe sooner rather than later, but I don't think as we kind of project this out for the Browns that this is going to be Shedeur gets handed the keys to the franchise for 17 games this season. I think it's likely, I'm thinking of this in the moment, what would the betting market be, number of quarterbacks to start games this season for the Cleveland Browns? 2.5? Juiced over? Juiced under? I bet the over. I think Flacco is going to start games. I think Pickett's going to start games. I think Shedeur's going to start games. Is Dylan Gabriel going to be on the team? Is Shedeur going to be on the team? I think Shedeur will be on the team. By all accounts, he's better than Dylan Gabriel. But it's all really interesting. The Browns' win total as it stands right now is one of the lowest in the NFL. It's 4.5 at BetMGM. It is, though, juiced to the over. And I think if you are interested in betting the Browns' win total this year, you should probably figure out and handicap what you think the quarterback situation is going to be. I think this defense has a chance to be nasty this year with Cleveland. Jim Schwartz back as the coordinator. Myles Garrett gets signed. Remember, the first 2 picks in the draft for Cleveland were both on the defensive side of the ball. Mason Graham in the middle of the defensive line now out of Michigan. And then I think this guy's going to be an absolute beast. Bastion's son, Carson Schweinsteiger. Is that his name? Whatever. The linebacker out of UCLA. Shout out to Bastian Schweinsteiger, the former German national team soccer player. That's an awesome linebacker and a potential all-pro defensive lineman added to an already good defense. An already good defense with a really good coordinator. And Kevin Stefanski is a really good head coach. So if you sit down and you think to yourself, okay, I think Joe Flacco, who took the Browns to the playoffs just a couple of years ago and won comeback player of the year and won us all a boatload of money. It was great. If Flacco's going to start every game, the Browns are probably going to win at least 5 games. If Kenny Pickett's going to start every game, it's a little hairier, right? I'm not a Kenny Pickett guy, but maybe the Browns could go 5-12 with Kenny Pickett. Maybe, if Kenny Pickett's going to be the starter. If it's Shedeur starting most of the year in Cleveland, it's like Jerry Jeudy and David Njoku. Are you a believer in Cedric Tillman? Jamari Thrash looks to be the first guy up in the slot for Cleveland at the receiver position. Can Harold Fannin, the rookie tight end, give you anything behind Njoku? If you think Shedeur is going to start a lot of games this year for the Browns, and I do, I think Shedeur will start the most games this year for the Browns out of any quarterback on the roster, as I think they're going to try to not be great to land their franchise quarterback next year if Shedeur or Dylan Gabriel is not the guy. Is Shedeur good enough to go 5-12 in a dynamite division? Even if you don't like Aaron Rodgers, like the Steelers with Aaron Rodgers on paper are going to be better than the Browns if Shedeur Sanders is the quarterback. I have enough faith in Stefanski, and I like Shedeur. I think he's dumb with some of the things he reportedly said and did in these interviews, but on the field, I think Shedeur's pretty good. With Stefanski as the coach, with that defense, in this economy, I think the Browns can go 5-12 with Shedeur Sanders as their quarterback. Just something to think about. If you are going to handicap in your head how this Browns season is going to go, you have to be able to answer the question, who's going to be the quarterback for the majority of the games, and what do you want to do if and when that quarterback is under center for the majority of games?